friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so delighted you're here. I would love it if you aren't a subscriber, if you subscribe to my channel and click that bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. Today I'm going to share a card that I'm making with some new Maker Forte goodies that I just got. I'm so excited about this order. I ordered myself a new clear embossing ink pad and a new Remarkable Eclipse Black ink pad. My favorite black ink pad, especially for Copic coloring, is this Maker Forte Color Hive Remarkable Black ink pad. It's amazing with your alcohol markers. It's fantastic. So I love it. And I've been trying to get the new colors that come out every month, and last month they came out with Lady Liberty. So I got the ink pad and the re-inker, and I'm definitely going to swatch those. You can see I have my swatching kit there. I've got all the stuff I use to swatch. I've got a little kit that I use. I have them all on a ring. This is so pretty. Isn't this pretty? I love looking through this little swatch of ink pads and, picking a color. I think Maker Forte is coming out with really sweet colors. I love the colors they're coming out with. Anyways, I got 3 new stamp sets. I did treat myself. I'm not kidding. So I have this Spread What Matters. I love the sentiments in here. I love that Just Breathe one because we all need that reminder once in a while, and it's just such a great one. Then I got this Dino-Riffic stamp set, which I just think is so cute. And I am excited because I have a whole bunch of pictures of my kids from when they were little that I got from my mother-in-law's house after she passed away. So I have a whole bunch of new pictures to scrapbook, and I'm going to use those dinos in some scrapbook layouts with my son. And then I just couldn't not put this in my cart. This one's called Dream Big, and look at the sweet images here and the beautiful sentiments. I just love them. I also treated myself to the nested circles, and it does say nested circles 1, so I'm excited. But look at the package. This comes in a heavy-duty chipboard package with Velcro on it. It's got a really heavy magnet, and there are 9 dies here. These are nested circles, and I love them. And I love that these dies are coated in that black. I just feel like I'm getting value for my money here with the way that it's packaged. I don't now have to go get packaging and magnets, and it's all done for me. And this is no more expensive than other companies' dies, so I'm really excited about it. They also have that QR code on the back that you can use with your phone to get more inspiration and ideas. So they have lots of inspiration at Maker Forte, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every time I upload a new video for them, you will see it here. So this is my swatching kit. I have it in a bin. I keep those 2 stamps on those clear blocks right in that bin. I've got a marker, which you can see I've written the name Lady Liberty. And when I purchased the swatch kit, I purchased like 3 packages of extra papers for the swatch kit. I even have some extra rings in there, and I'm swatching my inks as I get them because they come out with like 1 or 2 or 3 inks every month. So you can see I stamped it twice, once with a solid stamp and once with a stamp that had some space between the dots. Then I just blended it on, and I'm just going to now use a water brush, which doesn't have any water in it. That's why I spritz some. And I'm just going to pull out that color so I can see what it looks like dark and light when I pull it out with water. And I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll add it to my ring. Now, one other thing I do, I always buy the re-inkers. These are foam ink pads, and they definitely need to be re-inked more often than felt pads, but mostly because if they're nice and juicy, you're going to get perfect images the first time, which I love about felt pads. So I'm a huge fan, or not felt pads, of foam pads. I'm a huge fan of foam pads. So I'm going to put a little dot of liquid glue on the top of my re-inker, and you see I used my hole punch, and I'm just adding that piece to the top of my re-inker. I have a scrapbook.com ink pad holder that I use for my Color Hive inks, and it stores the re-inkers on the top. It's a rotating ink pad storage piece, and when I look down, I can see all those little spots of ink that I created there on the top of my re-inker, so I know just which one to pull out. So I'm seeing that this Lady Liberty is going to be beautiful, layered with a couple of the other colors that Maker Forte has. So I'm very excited about this new color. I just think they're coming out with pretty colors that I don't have in my other ink collections. I have the Distress Oxides, I have my I have some Altenew inks, and I have my Catherine Pooler inks, and I love all of those, but I feel like it's been fun to actually collect these a little at a time. I love that Maker Forte is coming out with their inks in an affordable way, so I can afford to buy 1 ink pad or 3 ink pads. It's harder to buy 10, so I like that they're doing this. So I can add to it slowly. If I don't want a color, I don't have to purchase the color. So I went ahead and stamped some of those dinosaur images and the other images from the stamp set with my Maker Forte Color Hive ink. I'm so happy to have my black ink pad. I left my other one in Florida, so it's waiting for me when I move back there, and I won't have to move my ink pads back and forth, my black and clear, because now I have a set there and a set here. So I'm happy about that, but I was happy to get this ink pad. I felt like it was 2 months without it, and I missed it. So I decided that I have so many scraps. I always try to start with my scraps, and when I pulled out scraps, I realized I have a ton of strips. Like, I save some ridiculously small pieces, but I always feel like I can use strips because I like to use them as anchors for sentiments or as anchors for images, and I often use them like on the bottom third of my card. And I don't know why. I always feel like it's just a finishing touch that makes me feel like the card is complete. So I have a lot of these little strips. And I just pulled them out. And when I pulled them out, I realized I sort of have a sunset here. So I had a couple different shades of green. And you see I had to cut a yellow to size. I had orange. I had a couple different shades of red. I had some purple. I didn't have any blue, believe it or not. So I'm just putting these down, and I am leaving space between them. And as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking either that orange, I think that orange one is probably not cut evenly. I probably should have trimmed it down a little bit. But I'm just using my scrapbook adhesive tape runner to put these on because I don't want to have wet liquid glue when I die cut them, because I'm going to take one of those circle dies, and I'm taking if I start counting at the largest, I'm taking the third one just because that's what fits on this piece of white scrap paper that I pulled out. So I'm really making an effort to use up my scraps. So I'm just going to place this down, and I am going to have a little white at the top and the bottom. I'm okay with that. I could cut off the purple and the green and add it to the bottom also if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it like this. It's a card for a little kid, so if it's not perfect, they'll be fine with it. And I'm trimming off some of those longer strips. Of course, they'll go back into my scrap envelope, and I'm just running this through my die machine. And I did tape them down. I always find that if I don't tape my dies down, they slip before I run them through the die cut machine. So I always tape them down, and I'm definitely happier with the results when I do that. So I decided that I would use a white card base. So I have a card base that's cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm just folding it and giving it a good score here, or a good press with my bone folder. And so that's about 5 1/2. And I like the way it looks just like this, but I'm deciding that, why don't I use a piece of that scrap paper as a background? So I pulled out one of the greens, and it happens to be a third green that actually isn't either one of the strips that I have on there. So I'm okay with that. When I measured, it was about 4 1/2 inches. So I'm going to cut this down in the other dimension to about 3 1/2. And I'm just going to add it with some tape runner and put it on here. And I'm just eyeballing it. You can be more precise about making sure it's centered on your card base. And I'm actually putting the circle a little toward the top of that piece. And I love all the color on this card and these sweet little dinosaurs. I didn't do anything fancy coloring them. I used 2 or 3 colors for each one, and then I just went around the edge of the dinosaurs with the darkest color, then took the next darkest and blended around that, and then the lightest color filled the rest in. And I used some browns for the fingernails and toenails and horns and all that stuff. And I just kept it really simple. And I used just like browns, yellows, and greens, just because I thought those were fun colors. You can make them any color. Like, I am not opposed to purple dinosaurs. And I guess that depends on the little kid that is receiving the card, because if it's some little kids take their dinosaur seriously, and you better have those colors looking like real dinosaurs when you send that card out. But most kids just like dinosaurs and, aren't too fussy about what color they are. So if you want to make a purple one, definitely make a purple one. That's all the fun. And I have 3 pieces left over. And of course, I've got more die techniques that I want to do there. I love that pterodactyl. Whenever, when we're in Florida, I always feel like the pelicans are very pterodactyl-esque. They almost seem prehistoric, those birds, and they're entertaining to watch and not very graceful, not like the bald eagles that are around. Those are the most graceful birds I've ever seen, but the pelicans are just very pterodactyl-esque, and I just find them entertaining. So I'm actually using my Eclipse Black ink to create my, I love this, have a roarsome day. So I could use this for any occasion. It doesn't have to be a birthday. And I have some sentiment dies, and I have like 4 sets of these. So I have all different sizes, and I just have them all in a plastic envelope together. And I always pull out the one that I like. This is one way to, for sure, get your sentiments cut evenly. And I love this little thing. I also love this little die cut machine. And I like having a little die cut machine on my desk. So if you don't have one, you definitely want to consider one. That is something so handy. Although I have to say, everything in my craft room, my craft space, I don't really have a craft room. I'm actually crafting in a corner of my living room, and not a very big corner. I have a very small workspace and a big cabinet that I bought off Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was getting rid of it from their house, so I bought it for like $120, and it holds everything I need right behind me. So I'm in a small space. So I'm going to add some crown jewel gems. These are just blue ones. I think they're actually the older Scottish thistle. And I'm just adding 3 for some bling, and I wanted some blue on the card. And that's going to complete my card. So I am going to put links to products below, and I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. Make sure you click that bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. And I am so thankful that you stopped by today, and I would love it if you left a comment and let me know what you think about the card. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Have a creative day.